We are on our 5th week of the government shutdown, but tomorrow, Senate is voting on 2 plans to reopen it. Those plans include protection for undocumented immigrants in exchange for border wall funding. A huge congratulations to our women's basketball team who just knocked off number 18 Iowa State last night. This is a huge statement game in their season, and it's going to propel them in the future for any tournaments or potentially playoffs. A tragic story takes a turn nearly 8 years later. Back in 2011, a mother took her life after her son Timothy Pitson was kidnapped. Pitson has now come forward claiming he was that young boy. DNA results are expected later today. It's time to say thank you to TurboTax, and just in time for tax day, congressional Democrats and Republicans are moving to permanently ban the IRS from creating a free electronic tax filing system. For all you movie lovers out there, there is one blockbuster left on the planet. Australia recently announced closing its blockbuster, which leaves one more in Bend, Oregon. With Netflix and Redbox booming, Blockbuster hit bankruptcy back in 2010 and has been closing stores ever since. Speaking of ball games, TCU is full of them today. We've got a doubleheader. You can head over to the Lupton Stadium to watch our baseball team take on Texas Rio Grande Valley at 5 o'clock, and then head over to the Schollmeyer to watch our men's basketball team take on Creighton as they continue their road to the Big Apple. The Notre Dame fire was finally extinguished after 15 hours. The firefighters managed to save the main stone structure of the 850-year landmark. Talk has already begun about the rebuilding process, and the cause of the fire is still unknown. A case that may have consequences for California is being backed by the Supreme Court. Today, the Supreme Court justices are ready to back the Trump administration's idea to add a citizenship question to the 2020 census. California and many blue states fear that many households will refuse to fill out the census form altogether. An off-campus party took a turn for the worse after a Washburn University football player was killed and a recent New York Giants draft pick was seriously injured. Dwayne Simmons died in the shooting, and Corey Ballantyne was seriously injured but is expected to make a full recovery. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention just confirmed the 15th case of the coronavirus here in the U.S. The patient hasn't been named yet, but is currently in a mandatory 14-day quarantine after a flight last week from Wuhan, China. The quarantine is taking place at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. The debate on whether or not the virus is airborne is still a very hot topic and is creating enough fear for people to not even want to step outside to get some fresh air. But some experts say that without it, mental health may be compromised. A 4-year-old tiger in the Bronx Zoo has now tested positive for COVID-19 after their caretaker was asymptomatic. This tiger, along with 3 other tigers and 3 African lions, experienced a dry cough and decreased appetite, but are expected to make a full recovery. For the first time ever, the Supreme Court will be hearing half of the remaining cases of the term by telephone. The audio will be provided live to news media and the public.